Hey screen printers, it's Ryan from RyanNet. I'm excited to introduce to you RyanNet's new CMS water-based and discharge Pantone mixing system. This Pantone mixing system allows you to mix any color in a standard Pantone book. With 14 colors of pigment concentrate, you can basically take that and with an easy-to-use online application or computer software, get the Pantone mixing formula and mix the ink into a new container. You use a discharge base or water base, so this can be printed on cotton, polyester blends with the water-based system, even onto paper and wood with the water-based system, and with the discharge system it can go into 100% cotton dark garments to get a Pantone match on a discharge ink that gives you the ability to put a nice color on a dark garment without doing an underbase. Now this system uses these 14 colors of ink. These are the same 14 colors of ink that you're going to see that make up all the Pantone colors in the Pantone book. So the cool thing about this system is you can mix directly out of the Pantone book, or you can use the easy-to-use online application or downloadable PC software to mix. Let's take a look at how the mixing process works. The things that you're going to need are a scale and mixing containers, and then a Pantone book like you see here. Pantone book's very important. We always recommend mixing to the coated Pantone book. So typically you'll get a Pantone book set. You'll have uncoated and then solid coated. We always want to use the coated. That's what the formulas are based on. Today we're going to be mixing several colors to print a 4-color design. We're going to show you mixing one, and then we're going to go ahead and mix the rest of them. The first color we're going to mix is Pantone 185C. Pantone 185C is made up of warm red and rubine red, mixed at a ratio of 75 to 25. Now, let's go ahead and pull that up in the mixing software, and we'll show you how that works. This is the RyanNet color matching system for the water-based and discharge CMS inks. As you can see here, you can choose your system, which right now is just the CMS system. If we do add a ready-for-use system, will be also integrated into this color matching software. Now, I'm using the online version of this software right now. There's also a desktop or dongle version available as well. Right here, you can select your Pantone number. So we're going to go for 185C, but you can select any Pantone number in the standard Pantone color book. So we're going to select 185C. Now, out of 185C, we can choose how much ink we're going to end up mixing. So for purposes of this, we can mix, let's say, a pound, a kilogram, or a gram. I typically like to mix in grams because that's how the scales work. I can choose my batch amount. So let's say 100 grams, and go ahead and get the formula. So as you can see in the book, because this CMS system is matched off of a 100-point system, you can see 90 grams are going to be the mixing base. Then you have your warm red and your rubine red, 7.5%, 2.5%, or 7.5 grams, 2.5 grams. So if we change this, if we went up to 120 grams, we would be at a little bit different ratio, obviously. And that's where the value of this mixing software really comes into play. So right now, we're at 9 and 3 grams and does the calculations automatically for us. So let's say we changed it to 193. Go ahead and get the formula. We can change the color code, we can put in the amount, we can change the batch number, all of that, and it's going to put out a new formula right here. Now we can also search for this product available on our website if you need to reorder it, or you can print the label. So let's say this is the label that you want to print. This is the exact size that you can just hit print and then tape that onto your container so you know exactly what you're mixing, what container you're mixing and the formula that went into it, and also how much was it originally mixed. So it's very easy software to use and very, very powerful because you can use it on an online app. So this works on an iPad, an iPhone, an Android, whatever, or it also works on a PC via internet, or there's also a dongle version. So this is how to use it. It's extremely simple, and you can always double check that against the book. Now you saw how easy the online application is to work, or the downloadable desktop version. But let's say you just want to mix off the book. Well, because this system is combined and built by the Pantone formulas in this book, you can use any of these formulas and mix without any of that software. And that's one really cool part about this system. So basically, we're going to go off a 100-point scale. We're going to move the decimal point over one spot to the left. And that's going to allow us to mix a 185C manually. So let's say I'm going to do 100 grams of ink. 90 grams is going to be my mixing base, and then 7.5 grams right there is going to be warm red, and then 2.5 grams right there is going to be rubine red. Let's say we're going to do 184. 90 grams of base, 3.75 of warm red, 1.25 of rubine red, and 5 of trans white. So you can basically go off of any of these formulas and using that scale, mix any of those formulas based around that 100-point system, 100% system. Obviously, using the round numbers like 100 make it work very easily, and that's one cool thing about the Pantone mixing app on the online app is because you can plug in 85 and it'll give you the exact values to mix 85 grams. But you can use that 100-point scale, do the math manually, and mix any color out of this book without using the software. First thing when you get this container, you want to shake it up very, very well. They all have shake well before use labels. So just shake it up really, really well. Make sure that the pigment is all the way distributed evenly in the water base. This is a water-based ink. Comes in different sizes. It comes with a closed cap. You just take a scissors and just cut the tip of the cap off. Make sure it's shaken very, very well. So now we're going to pour in our base. You see our scale right here. We have a pint container on it ready to mix. We're going to do the first thing is we're going to tear out, or sometimes it's called zero out, depending on the scale, your container. So that takes the weight of the container out of the equation. Now we always recommend using a scale of at least 0.1 grams. Just going to the gram is not accurate enough when you're dealing with these pigment concentrates. So this scale goes to 0.1 or the 1/10 of a gram. Let's go ahead and take the base here and mix it in. And for this formula we're going to mix 50 grams of ink. So we could either go off the book here and divide all these in half, or by using our online software, we have basically 45 grams of base. So we're going to open up the base, put 45 grams in. Then we have 3.75 grams of warm red and 1.25 grams of Rubine red. So we're putting 45 grams in. We put a little bit too much in. We can just take our spatula. I like these metal spatulas. They work great. And just dip in an amount of ink there. So we can make sure that we get 45 exactly. 45 grams. Now let's add the color. So 3.75 grams, so I'm going to round up to 3.8 grams of the red. And with this red, it's very thin, so you got to be very careful not to go too heavy on it. Okay, we're going to 3.8, remember? So there we are. Then we tear that again, and our next one is going to be 1.3. Next step is mixing it all up. So now we just mix all that into the container, and it creates the color in the Pantone book. Okay, next step is to proof it. So we got the Pantone book. That's why you always want to use a Pantone book like this. Hold it next to it, and it looks right, spot on right there. So I just put on a little bit of a white piece of paper. You use a shirt or a test pen. Sometimes you can do it out of the container, but if you're on a different color of background, it's going to look a little bit different. So on the white background is always best. Once it's proofed, now we can go on press. One awesome part about this system is it works with water-based or discharge. So right now we have a discharge base. Water base would work the exact same, but if we want to make it a discharge base, we basically will add the discharge agent. So by using a different base, we can use add the discharge agent. This will allow this discharge to discharge out a dark garment. So discharge agent mixes in at 5%. So I'm going to tear that again. 5% of 50 grams is 2.5. So I'm going to put 2.5 grams of agent in there. And that will activate this ink and now make it a discharge. And the agent does not have to be exact. It can be a little bit over, a little bit under. It still should work fine. Once the agent's mixed in, so we're just a little bit over, that's fine. We'll mix it all in and allow it to sit for just a couple minutes. It'll start to activate the ink and kind of bubble up, and that's how we'll know it's mixed. So now let's mix the other 3 colors for the design, and we'll go on press and show you how that works. We just loaded our water-based ink into the screens. This is the discharge ink. The other inks are actually the water-based ink. Now, as you can see, this ink's fairly runny. So this works great from anything from a 156 to a 305 mesh. With discharge, you can use it on a 110, but with water-based, a 110 is a little bit too open so that it floods through. If you ever see your ink flooding through your screen, your mesh isn't tight enough. So these are 156 mesh screens because we're printing both water-based and discharge on them. That's probably the lowest you'd want to use for a standard water-based ink that doesn't have the discharge agent mixed into it. So the water-based inks would work great through like a 230 or 280 on lighter garments, giving it a nice soft hand or feel. So simply we're going to flood and print these. So because it's the first pass, we'll make sure to just print it twice. Now you always want to flood the ink back, so you leave the image area flooded so it does not dry out. This is a water-based ink, but you got a great looking print there. And we're printing these all wet on wet. So this is our Pantone golden yellow. So flood back, print up. And you always want to flood that back. Now we got green. So all these custom colors, easy to mix with that system. Flood back. And then finally the blue. So got a nice vibrant blue color there that we Pantone mixed. There's our final product. The Pantone color is looking nice and vibrant on a light garment. Let's see what it looks like on a dark garment using that red discharge that we mixed up. Same thing on a dark garment. Now remember, the red is a discharge ink. So we got a nice saturation there. You don't really see these colors on dark. You can print them with an opaque white underbase or discharge white underbase as well. But if we're using the discharge ink, now this is a standard water base with a standard water base. So the only discharge here is the red, but we're just printing them all to show you the difference between using the discharge base and the standard water base. So now we'll cure that. To cure that, we're going to use an infrared flash dryer. Now, water-based and discharge always works best with airflow. So with a conveyor dryer or a flash dryer, if you have an airflow flash dryer, that does work best. Now, using an infrared flash dryer, you got to let that water evaporate out in order for the ink to cure at 320 degrees. So right now, it's starting to evaporate out and it'll start to steam up a little bit. This flash dryer is probably a little bit too close, so we're going to raise it up just a touch to allow that air movement underneath there for that water to evaporate up. Water-based takes a little bit longer to cure with standard infrared because you don't have air forcing it down. So typical dwell times need to be about a minute to a minute 30, maybe upwards of 2 minutes. The ink itself needs to reach 320 degrees in order to cure. So with the airflow allows that water to evaporate faster so it reaches curing temperature faster. As you can see, that's discharging out. Now, it's discharge where you see the color. It's not discharge where you see it's still wet. So because we're using an infrared flash, it's taking a little bit longer, but the color is coming out awesome. And we are good, and that's all the way cured. Color came out awesome. So let's take a look, comparison look here. So here's the color on white. Here's the color on red on a black background. And here's our Pantone color. So very, very close on the black. The black does change the shade slightly, but we're very close. And we're awesome on the white as well. So the discharge, as you can see, the other colors didn't discharge. This discharged out beautifully. Nice solid color. Once this is washed, this will have a completely soft-handed feel. This already has a soft-handed feel because it's a water base. So this is a really awesome ink whether you're using this system for discharge or water base. So whether you're doing custom Pantone colors on dark garments with your discharge ink, or you're doing the water-based Pantone colors for light garments with a nice soft-handed feel, or if you're even doing uncoated paper like you see with gig posters or any other type of advertising posters, or even uncoated wood. Rionet's CMS Pantone custom water-based and discharge mixing system allows you to take any of these Pantone colors that you see right here in this book, use a simple online application to mix any color that you want. This can give your business as a screen printer extra value because no longer do you have to turn customers away to say, I don't have that color on hand or I can't mix that color. It also gives you the versatility of doing both high quality water-based and unique discharge style of prints. With this system, it comes with 14 colors of ink, the base, and the agent. So depending on the type of system that you want, water-based or discharge, you're going to use those two different types of bases. The things that you're going to need are a Pantone book. So if you don't have a Pantone book, definitely invest in a Pantone book like that. Empty mixing containers and a good Pantone scale that will take grams up to at least a tenth, if not 100th of that gram. So if you're looking to add a whole new world of water-based and discharge color to your screen printing business, check out these easy-to-use packages, kits, and reorder supplies available on our website. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.